Well, welcome back to LazArcade with me, BsfGaming. Um, Third stream today. It's going to be a nice short one as well. This is a bonus for all you fans. This is the Manufacturers Cup race from today. Excuse me, big hiccupy burp right there. Not the most yummy tasting one. So the Manufacturers Cup. Some of you may well have heard about this, and I'm going to go into a bit of detail of how it works for those that aren't sure and those that are sure but want a bit of clarity. So, the Manufacturer's Cup is basically you choose a manufacturer, as it is kind of in the title. That manufacturer is who you are signed to. They give you a Group 3 and a Group 4 version of their car for that brand. Now, in brands like Ford, which I am in, where you have two Group 3s, they only give you one. So you can use the other one if you wish, but you have to go and buy it yourself. So that's a noteworthy point. However, there are usually 4 rounds. This time there is 5 due to the PSN outage last week. It massively affected one of the Manufacturer Cup Day races. So what they've done is they've done this. They've reran it as a separate round at the end of it. So there are now 5 rounds this series, and instead of the best 2 rounds counting, they've now made it best 3. So it's kind of cool that they've added it back in as a another round, because not everybody managed to get on during the PSN outage. Good news is I did. Picked up a very good result in that race. However, I didn't save the replay because a bit stupid. I actually think I won that one too, which is bloody annoying. However, your best 2 usual rounds count. Now, the way that each round is done is Wednesday and Saturday alternate. This is Wednesday, today's race. So, today there are a series of slots for the races. In my category, GT2, it starts, I think it was something ridiculous like 8 a.m. There's one slot every hour. So one race every hour up till 12. They have a couple of hours off for lunch, I guess, and then continue on to a 5 or 6 p.m. Now, you do not score points for every single race you enter. And this is the important thing. Many of the newer guys, you're not going to know this, so pay attention, because you can end up screwing yourself out of a good points total by doing this wrong. So, let's say you do the 8 o'clock race in the morning and you come P15. Realistically, go again, because you cannot, well, you can do worse than 15th, but hey, one place ain't really going to matter. There's a lot more room for improvement, especially if you've got a bit taken out or something and you're pretty confident in yourself, but had a bit of a bad race, bad strategy, whatever. Go again. 9 o'clock race, you come second. You think, do you know what? I was so close to winning it, I'm going to go again. 10 o'clock race and any other race after that, let's say your best result for the rest of the day is 6th. Or let's actually say, yeah, you get a 6th. and you keep chasing that first place, and on the very last race of the day, you get a 15th. You come away with the points for your last race on that day. The last race you start is the points that you get. So if you get a second, feel free to go for a first. I'm not going to sit here and tell you not to. What I am going to say is when you come 15th or get taken out or whatever, you've thrown away that second place that you had on the race before. You only score points for the day for the last race that you complete. And by complete, if you've got to start it. If you disconnect or worse still, rage quit, that's the points that you get. And I think quitting a race is actually 0. So you could have a second place, rage quit the next one, and lose all your points. So be mindful. The Nations Cup works very similar. However, that doesn't give you cars. You choose your own car to or use a rental car, depending on the track and series for that day. However, it's the same format. The last race you enter, the last race you start, is the race that you get points for. So be extremely careful. If you think that you're good enough, keep chasing it. Go for glory. Why not? If you're umming and ahhing, if you think, bloody hell, that was a good race, not going to do that again, don't do it again, because you'll lose out. Right, enough jibber jabber from me, because that's probably a good few minutes of chin waggery that was not needed, or probably not asked for, but definitely needed. So this Manufacturers Cup race from today, I'm quite happy with this one, which is why I have saved the replay and have given you a bonus stream. Achilles qualified first, the German, brilliant. Dimon, gonna call him Dimon. Dimon is second. What are you in, mate? Let's go behind you so I can actually see what car it is. I think that's a Porsche. That is a Toyota Supra. So Dimon's in a Toyota Supra. There's another Toyota Supra. I'm just gonna call him. Excuse me. I'm just going to call him 2501 because I'm not even going to try and pronounce that name and make a fool of myself. Kegel Freak. That's a nice name. Kegel Freak in the black Lamborghini there. Davix. Davix is in the Nissan 5th. Xander is that a Lamborghini? That is a Lamborghini. It says Lamborghini on it. In 6th, myself in 7th in the Ford GT. Tio, that's a Porsche. In 8th. Tony Russia in 9th in the Audi. Paul in the Genesis. Cobra in a Ferrari. Satana also in a Ferrari. Faultier in a BMW, Mr. Bulldops in a Mercedes. That's a nice looking, in the Iron Lynx livery. That's a very cool livery. Do like that team. Marchi in a BMW, Pana bike in a Genesis. So, with the World Tours Series, or with the World Series Manufacturers Cup, it's the 99% of the time a rolling start. Now that I've said that, they might switch to grid starts for no reason in the next race, but 99% of the time they are rolling starts, which I hate. That was a little fart in case anybody heard that. I hate rolling starts. I think that Gran Turismo is so bad at doing them. Look at the difference in P1 to, let's go P1 to P5, the Nissan. So the red Achilles down to the Nissan in the bottom right hand corner. There's about 10 car lengths there. And I know for a fact that in quali, I in 7th was only 4/10 off the leader. So you are miles back for no reason at all. Any series in the world where they do a rolling start is either single file, nose to tail, leader controls the pace, go when you hear green. Or, like World Endurance Series, or something like that, like IMSA, or even IndyCar, side by side, 2x2, and you go on the green. There is absolutely no reason why they couldn't close these gaps up, or better still, there's a grid. Use the grid. I don't think there actually is a grid at Daytona, but there is the option to do grid starts because I've done them in my own series. So you could use grid starts. Granted, I just prefer it. I think grid start should be the way to go. There's no safety cars or nothing, so you don't need a rolling start. And you don't even get to control the rolling start, so you get stuck 10 lengths behind. Mr. Davix, 10 lengths behind P1 when you start. It's just not very nice. I mean, even worse is myself there. I'm halfway back round the corner. Poor Mr. Last Place, Jesus. He's so far back around the corner, he might as well have a different postcode. However, enough whining, and let's get on with the replay. And already, this made me laugh. Half the grid, Mr. Tony Rusher here, lagged out. And because he's lagged out, half the grid instantly stuck behind him. And you hear the tick down, and now they can go. For everyone back there, that was absolute criminal. However, heading down into turn 1, Achilles leads the way ahead of Dimon. 25.01 right behind him. Kegel-free Kevin, a brilliant start as well. Up the inside of 25.01, Davix dive into the inside to block Xander. Xander blocking BSF and Tio right behind. Tio having a good little run through that gaggle, but not able to get ahead. Davix all on the brakes, trying to avoid 25.01. Xander up alongside, thinks about a move. BSF now on the brakes, heavy, gets shunted 6 ways to Narnia. It goes wide, Tio goes through. BSF with rear bumper damage from that contact. However, Tio with the front bumper now taking over. BSF gets track limits penalty. What's that all about? You get a track limits penalty for being pushed off the track. Gran Turismo penalty system also broken. Xander, whoa, Xander sending it 6 ways to Sunday, flying across the bus stop, all out of control. Doesn't pick up a penalty. So Xander, who quite clearly cut half the bus stop there, didn't get a penalty. He has got front rear wheel damage and bumper damage. Now, good news is, who's that? Davix serving. Oh, I would say serving a penalty, but I think just waiting for Xander there. Tio running wide into turn 1. BSF with a big tank swapper coming out of that turn. 25.01 and Kangol Freak having a good battle. BSF up the inside of Tio. Tio cuts back underneath. On the back of that immediately comes Xander. Davix also trying to close back in after giving quite a big chunk of gap up to Xander. BSF going for another move on Tio. Can't make it, but does get down to the apex. Much faster. A big slide on the exit of the... I think that's the International Horseshoe. I think. Just going to call it the Horseshoe. They're all horseshoes. Hairpins, whatever. We'll go with that. I don't know. Call it something that it isn't because I haven't done my homework. So BSF up to 6th, following Tio. These two slipstreaming heavily up into the next corner, the bus stop. Achilles followed by Kangol Freak now. Dimon missed it. 25.01. BSF sends it up the inside of Tio and launches through. Xander now latching onto the back of this three-way train as these three try and work together to get themselves back up to the front. 25.01 finds himself a little detached from Dimon. Kangol Freak serves a half-second penalty there and drops out of second place. It's going to allow 25.01 with a good run up the inside and contact into turn 1. Return of contact from Kangol Freak. Kangol Freak sticking it on the outside in the big Lamborghini. Muscles his way back in front. 25.01, not liking that. BSF, we've lost Tio. Tio spun into turn 1. Xander now on the back of BSF. Kangol Freak and 25.01 still going hard at it. 25.01 on the inside. Takes the place. Kangol Freak gets the drive on the exit. What a brilliant switchback. He's put himself on the outside for the next corner. And as they head on to the bankings, 25.01 with a little cheeky hesitation on the throttle there. Kangol Freak just bumps him ever so gently out of the corner, and that allows 25.01 to run away far enough out far enough up slipstream range to not become an issue. Achilles and Dimon. 25.01, Kangol Freak. BSF launching it into the bus stop, followed by Xander. Cobra has made good recovery from the awful starting position. Davix has gone backwards quite quickly. Tio as well, and Davix picking up a 1 second penalty. BSF chasing down now Kangol Freak, who's dropped to P4. Dimon up the inside of Achilles. Achilles on the outside has lost it and takes out Dimon, and that's 2 of them out. Achilles reverses into the middle of the track. BSF, luckily Achilles ghosts and BSF makes it. I think we lost someone. We definitely lost whoever. Yeah, we definitely lost someone. Don't know who. Whoa, Kangol Freak has gone round and BSF has gone flying through. So Achilles spun with whoever was next to him, and I can't remember who. Then Kangol Freak has spun at the next hairpin. So 25.01 has became the de facto leader, going on to, or coming out of lap 4. BsF chasing down in second. Xander having a brilliant run in third. Achilles recovering to fourth, and Cobra flying along behind. And as Cobra is in the slipstream of Achilles, albeit right on the fringes, he will get towed up. Tio just about. Now Tio served a penalty, he's dropped out of slipstream range completely. Xander all alone in third, also out of slipstream range. BsF is out of 25.01 slipstream range, so these guys now are on raw pace. Gonna have to do something if they want to make headway. The tyres on that Lamborghini compared to the Porsche behind him, absolutely criminal. The Ford not much better. 25.01 in the Supra, I think he's in. Gonna have to get closer view. I believe that is the Supra. Pretty sure. The Supra, much better tyre wear than the Ford behind it. Sliding his way onto the banking goes BsF. Xander in third, coming up behind. Achilles now defending against Cobra. Cobra in the Ferrari having a phenomenal run through the field after a catastrophic start, stuck behind the Russian guy who did get disconnected in the end. So there you go, disconnected, ruined pretty much half the field's race. I mean, there's a good little group of cars off the back of the field by a long way that got caught up in that. They may have already pitted as well, by the way. There is a mandatory pit stop here, which always check your event settings before the race, or even before you sign up to the race, just so that you've got some sort of strategy. Do a bit of practice. Achilles has run wide. There's a yellow flags up ahead. A 25.01 has ditched it into the wall. Our race leader has ditched it into the wall. As a BsF becomes the de facto leader. And it's until everybody's pitted, we're not quite sure where and how that's all going to filter through. Kangle Freak has made a good recovery. Currently P8, right behind the last lap leader, 25.01. So the Lamborghini and the Toyota locking horns again. Paul doing well in the Genesis, up to 6th. I have just realised next to their names is the badge of the car, so I don't know how blind I've been to not see that, but Tio in 5th in the Porsche, doing very well. Achilles is in the Porsche, should have known that. Ferrari is 3rd, sorry, Cobra. And Xander in the Lamborghini chasing down the Ford of BsF. BsF out in front. Tyres looking all good, all right. Not as good as that Lamborghini behind him though. Same as Cobra. Achilles, having had the spin and the off, is slowly eating his tyres. Tio, his tyres a little bit better off than Achilles. Paul with 25.01 and Kangle Freak, the two early contenders for the lead, right behind him. They're going to make short work of Paul, I reckon. We'll sit here. That Genesis is incredibly quick in a straight line, so the Toyota may struggle to get past, but the Lamborghini should be able to make headways. Oh, and Kangle Freak's hit 25.01. Front bumper damage for Kangle Freak. He gets a 2-second penalty for causing the collision. The time penalties for causing the collision quite severe in the Manufacturers' Cup. However, does still go purple into Sector 2. 25.01 with that unfortunate tap has dropped back to 8th. The Lamborghini now heading off after the Genesis. The Genesis might just pull away while Kangle Freak repairs the damage, and that damage now repaired. Tio making a good clean run through the bus stop. BSF holding on to the lead from Xander. Cobra up to 3rd from about 9th or 10th on the grid. Having a great run in the Ferrari. Achilles, our early leader, is into the pits on lap 7, so he's gonna go for the undercut, get off those worn tyres, get the fuel to the end of the race should he need any, and get out and try and make up time on fresh tyres. Or does he even pit for tyres? We don't know. I'm going to sit here and watch actually, because it's good to know. I think a lot of these guys, we all pit for tyres regardless, because the tyre wear is quite severe. It's on ×4, which is quite a lot. Achilles comes out in 11th place behind Davix and ahead of Panabike. Kangle Freak has dropped to 9th, so missed that, but he's lost 3 places. Having another incident, pulls up to 5th. With Achilles pitting. 25.01 followed by Faultier. Followed by Mr. Bulldops. And Kangle Freak again on the recovery run. As we head up to the top 3, BSF still holding it out in front of Xander. Windscreen wiper ablaze, which is part of his customary push mode, and he dives into the pit. So does Xander. Cobra also in from P3. Tio also comes in from P4. Paul dives in from 5. 25.01 from 6. Falter in from 7. Mr. Bulldops goes through, so he's going to go for one more lap. Kangle Freak also goes for another lap. And I'm going to keep an eye on Achilles, the early leader. Achilles up into 3rd. Oh no, everybody's coming out the pits. So Xander has jumped BSF in the pits. Cobra is right on his tail out of the pits. And this is going to get spicy. Achilles in 6th, quite a little way off Cobra, but ahead of Tio. So in the Porsche there, fresh tyres all up to temperature. Cobra up the inside of BSF. Makes a good move. BSF windscreen wiper ablaze, full push mode activated. Brilliant exit that time. On the back of Cobra. Oh, Cobra has a big wiggle mid corner. That's going to slow him down on the straight and allow BSF into the slipstream. And the slipstream, you can see it sucking him in. Here comes the Ford. Pulls out alongside and under the brakes into the bus stop. Goes BSF, although on the exit picks up a half-second time penalty for cutting the last part of the bus stop. Filters in behind Cobra. Xander up the road, running away. BSF's going to serve that penalty and just try and stick in Cobra's slipstream for as long as he can. Mr. Bulldops in from the lead. Kangle Freak going long on this first stint. front of that Lamborghini, absolutely demolished. Xander in his Lamborghini chasing him down on fresh tyres, less or slightly more fuel, having made the pit stop. Cobra now chasing down as well. A nice little gap between Cobra, Xander, BSF chasing. Head into the horseshoe at the end. BSF's wide, gets the car straightened up. Doesn't lose too much time, heading down the little short chute into the banking, but has lost slipstream almost definitely from that range. Cobra also just out of slipstream range from Xander by the looks of it, although might have had a good exit onto the banking. May just have kept himself in touch. BSF not too far behind, these three going for the aggregate lead. Xander holding the bus stop tight. BSF launching across the curb. That's going to be another penalty. Almost definitely. Or not. No penalty for that one. Got away with that. Cobra has managed to squirm his way through on Xander, who had a terrible exit from the bus stop. Going on to lap 11 of 15. Kengle Freak is finally in. Cobra on the inside. Oh, the contact with Xander. Xander's around. BSF just misses. Here comes Achilles. Achilles taking it easy as the yellow flags wave. So Achilles is back up to P3. Xander, unfortunately, from the lead has dropped to P5 with that contact and picked up quite a lot of damage, which will disappear. However, that's no consolation as he drops off the back of Tia, who just drags away from him. Now as the damage disappears, he'll be back up to full speed. BSF chasing down the Cobra. Cobra and BSF duking it out time-wise. Cobra setting the fastest lap with the slipstream last lap around. BSF holding his own. P2. Hunting down the Cobra. Setting fastest sector times as he goes into the bus stop. Nice clean bus stop there. Cobra picks up a 1 second penalty. This is going to be it. BSF twitchy through the last corner. Into the slipstream. Cobra serves the penalty. BSF overtakes. And Cobra with that massive penalty, dropping a lot of time, a lot of distance as well. Achilles P3, TO 4th, Xander 5th, 25.01 6th. Kengle Freak came out in 9th, quite a long way back as Mr. Bulldops from the previous lap lead of them both pitting latches on to the back of him. Faultier and Paul, side by side. Up ahead, 25.01, and Xander lock horns again, going through the first of the horseshoes. They now head towards the second. Xander going wide, 25.01 up the inside, tap, goes through. Bit of contact made. Xander won't like that. Xander very respectful, very clean driver. Straight into the slipstream. Up ahead of the... we're going to stick with these guys because there's... Or shall we go to... We'll go to the leaders as they go through the bus stop. Achilles and Tio next into the bus stop. No change of position there. 25.01 in the Supra stays ahead of Xander in the Lamborghini. Paul and Faultier right behind. Faultier with a much better run. Paul gets a little squill on. Bulldops has gone past Kangle Freak. And there's lots of decent little battles here. BSF still holding out in front of Cobra. Cobra holding on from Achilles and Tio. Achilles making good ground back after his early spin. Tio running wide there, and we missed the move. Xander and 2501. Xander just getting out of shape. 2501 all over the back of him. Faultier on Paul down at the bottom of the screen there. Nearly made the move, but didn't quite have enough mid-corner grip. 2501 going for the move back on Xander, and another hip check mid-corner. Paul and Faultier having a good ding-dong as well. Much cleaner ding-dong. Xander now on 2501 gets a better exit in the Lamborghini. He's going to send it up the inside, but the Supra just holds on in the early acceleration phase. As they head on to the banking, Xander now all over the back of 2501. Heads to the outside. He's going to get the door slammed in his face there. Oh, and 2501 goes deep. Xander goes back through. Tio has dropped off the back of Achilles. Cobra is all over the back of BSF, and as they head down the straight into turn 1, just eases off. Bit of lift and coast. Oh, and nearly clips the inside wall. Cobra pushing hard. Just looking at the fuel there, he may be short on fuel. May be extremely short on fuel, and sliding through the first of the horseshoes. BSF just extending his lead now. Cobra still full tilt chasing down the lead. He may be able to make it in the Ferrari with that amount of fuel. Cutting the corners as much as physically possible without getting penalties. Trying to make the track as short as possible. And again going on to the banking. Nice and tight. Kelly's in P3. Considerably more fuel. I don't think that Ferrari is going to make it. BSF is gone. Left Cobra standing. Achilles is the next one in line, and he may well catch him. Cobra is going incredibly slowly. He's 20 mile an hour down, going into the braking zone. Even Tio in P4 is going to catch him at this rate. Cobra on the exit of the bus stop, again massively slow. And Achilles is smelling blood. Achilles is on the move. He's already into the slipstream of Cobra. Cobra, if he makes it from here, he doesn't. He bails out into the pits. That allows Achilles and Tio to go through, and Cobra gets into the pits with 0 fuel. So he definitely wasn't going to make the final lap. So that's BSF up at the first horseshoe. Just got 1 lap to go. Achilles in P2 with Tio right behind him. Xander holding on to 4th. I can't remember. Oh, 2501. Where's 2501 gone? He's disappeared. He's also low on fuel. So the Toyota Supra are low on fuel. So Faultier takes over 5th, Paul 6th, Mr. Bulldops in 7th, Kangle Freak on the recovery drive is in 8th currently. And we'll sit with this little midfield pack because this is probably the best fight on the track so far. Kangle Freak with a flash, trying to get around the outside of Bulldops, who drops a power slide. Kangol Freak goes for the move up high. And as Kangol, does he get the overrun? He doesn't. Bulldops in the Mercedes, gets the power down early. And with a shorter run, with the bank in, Kangol Freak now returns to centre, up the inside into the bus stop. And that's Paul going slow on the exit. Kangol Freak's got a run. Oh, but he picks up a time penalty. Oh, and Kangol Freak takes out Paul. That allows Mr. Bulldops to go through, but he'll serve his penalty. That makes no difference because Paul gets massive damage from the contact from Kangol Freak. Cobra, having pitted, comes back and finishes 8th. Kangol Freak, naughty in 9th. Davik's almost out of fuel, 10th. Panabike coming around the last corner, 25.01, didn't make it. He did run out of fuel. And that's going to be up to Mr. Marchinabi. Now, will Marchinabi get 25.01 by the start line? He is crawling. Here comes Marchinabi at full tilt. Drives straight by 25.01. Comes home in 12th. 25.01. Slowly comes home in 13th. 2 disconnects after him. Quite a few actually. Satana and a Ferrari. Dimon, who was the one racing with Achilles, that got either quit or disconnected, and Tony Russia didn't even get off the start line. Disconnected almost immediately as the race started, and really screwed up those at the back. So those 3 at the back that have quit, if that is their last race of the day, they're going to score 0 points. Or they may get points for the place that they come in, but either way, that seemed the loss of DR and SR from a rage quit in these big series is double that of a normal one. So that is a massive dent in their progress. Really glad that Achilles managed to get back to 2nd after that wipeout, because I think he lost it all by himself, but he lost it all by himself, didn't he? And he collected Dimon. However, he qualified pole. He was incredibly fast, and he was the first one to congratulate us on the win after that. So that is the Manufacturers' Cup. I would say as well, race length is slightly different for each category. So the GT1's category of A and A plus ranks, I know that they have 20 laps. Us in GT2, we only have 15, and I think GT3 have less again. However, that is enough for me today. Hope you all enjoyed that. Hope the information was clear and precise for you. If there are any further questions, drop us a comment in the chat and I will get back to you as soon as possible. From me, BSF Gaming, for LazArcade, I bid you adieu. Good day, good night, have fun, stay safe. See you again.